And we're joined by Mark Boyer. Thanks for coming in, Mark. You're
Thanks
running for
me.
council. This
Yes.
is your first adventure in politics.
Yes, it is.
So can I ask what's kind of prompted you to do this?
A number of events over the last year or so since I've moved here. I've only been here 3 years. Having council make decisions that really didn't make sense, like the Trustwell fire, and allowing it to be rebuilt on the same footprint. The bylaw people not knowing that they own property, not enforcing bylaw signs.
So yeah, we discussed ahead of time that you seem to be motivated by a sense that there's a lack of accountability.
Yes.
Tell me about that. What bothers you?
The fact that it's not their job. You know, if somebody comes to a city employee with a concern, see if you can help. If it's not your job, then certainly direct them in the right direction. With this process, I've been in City Hall at the clerk's office, and there's the planning desk kind of there, and I've seen, you know, the employees interacting with people coming in with plans and asking questions and needing help, and they're great. The clerk's office was great through this whole process.
Right.
But there seem to be other bits and pieces that are not serving the public as well as they probably could.
Right. And you also mentioned that there's been instances where you've seen bylaws that should be enforced that aren't enough.
The motel on the highway that should have been torn down years ago, now all of a sudden we've got an election, it's getting torn down. I sent a letter to council a couple of years ago, or at least last year, asking for, you know, foot patrols downtown, cleaning up Bernard Avenue after events,
How long?
just pressure washing the sidewalk. Now all of a sudden the mayor appears on a video for the city saying, here's what we're doing.
So yeah, how long has that sort of dilapidated old motel been? Is it vacant?
It's been vacant for a long time. What I saw in the paper is that they closed in 2011. They got a demolition permit in 2012 and then did nothing with it. It's got, I think, an RCMP file of over 100 cases, bylaw around 100. The city's been there a number of times. Stuff like that shouldn't be allowed to drag on.
So I might classify that as a lack of attention to detail.
Yes.
And you're a detail person. Your background is that you are a technical flight inspector with
Correct.
NAV Canada.
Yes.
Details matter in a job.
Details matter. There's a tolerance. If it's 10 and the number comes in at 10.1, it's out of tolerance. You got to fix it.
Right. So it sounds like you, if elected, would be the guy at the end of the council row saying, you know, we didn't meet the mark.
That and to ask questions with a little bit of thinking outside the box. In my job, we move at 180 miles a minute, and you've got to make decisions quickly, but you also have to have a background and know what you're looking for. I think the decisions have to be made with everybody in mind, not just one little select group. What's good for the city, what's good for the population, not what's good for a large developer.
Right.
If possible, I'd like to see building permits restricted to affordable housing for now. But then again, you also need Victoria to get on board with the Landlord-Tenant Act, making it easier to deal with the tenants that destroy the property, that don't pay their rent. Kicking them out because they want to move their brother in or move it into an Airbnb. Yeah, no, those rules need to be there and they need to be tight to protect the tenants. But the landlords, that's why I think we have a problem with affordable housing, is they don't want to rent out their properties because they're worried about not being paid and the properties being destroyed and not being able to do anything about it. And there's good people out there that need affordable housing.
Okay, another idea you brought up prior to our interview is that you would like to see a ward system.
Yes, it's one thing I grew up with in Ottawa, and when I moved here, there was a concern that I had, especially with the bit of the downtown and stuff. And I looked at the city's website, and it was just a list of councillors.
Right.
Who has a vested interest in the area that you live in. Being fairly new, and I've got a question from somebody that went to the website, my website, said, yeah, I moved here from Winnipeg and I was surprised no ward system. Who do I talk to? Who's going to be accountable for a problem in my neighborhood? If you have a ward system and you're running and you live in that ward, you've got a vested interest in that.
And what ward do you live in?
I live downtown Bernard.
In the imaginary ward system. So
Yeah.
you'd be part of that downtown.
Downtown, yes.
So anything else? The 5 minutes goes by real quick.
It
Any
certainly
quick
does.
wrap up points, Mark?
I think I'm an honest person. I stick to my word. I always help as much as I can. If I don't have an answer, I'll find the answer and I'll get back to you. And that's what people have found through emailing me and asking me questions as I'm running for council. It's been quite a learning experience.
Terrific. And it was great getting to know you better.
Yes, thanks.
Mark Bloor, candidate for City Council, and thank you for watching Kelowna Now.